Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Munce Report as we delve into all the latest stable news and previews with trainer Chris Munce. Welcome, mate. It's an exciting time of year with the Summer Carnival just around the corner. And this weekend marks the unofficial start of the carnival with the running of the listed Keith Nowt at Doomben on Saturday. You've obviously got one runner, Stampy, in that race, and we'll touch on that shortly in a bit more detail. But before we get into the preview, firstly, how's the team building heading into the Summer Carnival?
Yeah, really good, Adam. Stampy, as you said, he'll go to the Keith Nowt on Saturday, and he's a horse that we've always had a lot of a high opinion of, and he certainly last prep he was very exciting the way he sort of worked through his grades and the way he handled Doomben and the open company level. He was really exciting to see him gallop, and certainly the way he came back. And his first up run was terrific when he was unlucky third there. So he's on the right track, and he's just probably one of a number of horses there that could hopefully line up over the summer races.
Sure, and obviously some of them like him are up and running, and then I guess there'll be others that maybe performed over the winter that are still to come and sort of eyeing, I guess, the back end of the carnival.
Yeah, well, there's a few that have sort of just started to trial. They're having their second trial next week, and they're probably ready to go to the races after that. And we'll just have to have a closer look at them when they go to the race, particularly these younger 3-year-olds. But, the likes of Boom Sarah, who didn't really race up to expectations last week. He was a bit disappointing, but if we can get him back on track, he'd certainly be competitive in any race that we run him in. But he's still a bit of a work to get his confidence back and get him back racing in the right vein of form.
Yeah, sure. Well, it is an exciting time of year with this first stakes race ahead of the summer. And you also added another winner to the tally this week, 3 Point Missile. He launched himself with a dominant win, start number 16, no less, for his patient group of owners. And maybe he might have been listening to you last week when you touched on the fact that he's had ability, but he just hasn't been able to put it together. And you maybe were wondering about his desire.
I know. Well, it always happens, doesn't it? The minute you threaten them with being sent into the oblivion, they all of a sudden find an extra leg. But it was, he's finally showed us on Sunday a bit of what he can show us on the track of a morning. He's a very, very good galloper. It was on the quick backup Saturday to Sunday, and Wigo rode him positively and aggressively, and it was a good, solid win for him. So, if now with a bit of confidence under his belt, I've got no doubt that he's the sort of horse that could go on with it and string a couple together. But, first things first, we just got to get him back to the races and healthy again. But, at least he finally broke through. It was good.
Very good. I know there was some plenty of love on social media from some of the owners who were pretty happy that he finally broke the duck. So, yeah, good to see him do that. Okay, well, let's get into the preview. Lots of runners this weekend and sort of dovetailing into next week, Tuesday meeting at Grafton where there'll be a few. Let's touch on Ballina Friday where you've got the one runner making the trip, Tanned In, who's on the quick backup after finishing 7th at the Gold Coast on Saturday.
Very unlucky at the Gold Coast. She struck 2 lots of interferences, no fault of Alan Chow's, but she was cluttered up in between horses and there was sort of just movement all around her. And it was really, she's a big striding filly, and she was really the last thing that she needed at that point of the race to lose concentration and then sort of lose focus on what her job at hand was. So she's pulled up in good order. There's nothing physically amiss with her. So for that reason, I decided to back her up quickly. She'll go to Ballina tomorrow with Ben Look at her ride, and so long as we don't get any rain overnight and the track happens to become rain affected, she'll go there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see her race very well. She's she's another similar horse to 3 Point Missile, quite a good galloper on the track, but she's still, in my mind, I think she's still a work in progress. But once the penny does drop it, she'll probably string a couple together well.
Okay, very good. There's also 2 runners heading to the Sunshine Coast. You did have 4 acceptors, but DEGAS and Shooting Roses drew poorly, so you're going to wait for that Grafton meeting. So Correa is the first run on the Sunshine Coast program, Friday night meeting, and Correa lines up in a Class 1 handicap over the 1,400 metres, of course coming off that last start win at the track and trip.
He raced terrific the other day. He got back in the ruck, blinkers on, certainly helped him be a bit more focused. And Larry actually said after the race he was surprised how he switched off. But look, he certainly hasn't gone backwards, this horse. And I just can't believe for the horse when he came in, he was sort of a light, fragile type of horse. But this stage of his prep, he's holding together really well, and he just continues to please me with the way he works and settled into the stable. He eats and he's working well. So from a good draw tomorrow, I think he'll sort of be getting the right sort of run there, maybe just off midfield or, midfield a bit better. And then it'll be up to Larry to navigate his path from there. But certainly he's a very much progressive horse, and I quite like him a lot going forward.
Okay, interesting to see how he goes. The second run on the program is Buckets of Pride, who contests the Fillies and Mares benchmark 65 handicap over the 1,000 metres, which is her third up assignment. Do you think she's better suited as she gets into her preparation?
I think so, and I also think that she's just a speed filly now. Probably did a bit too much work the other day at Ipswich, but back to 1,000 metres, only small field. Larry will now have his decision to ride the mare where he wants, whether that be in front or back off him or whatever he wants to do. It could be just like a barrier trial, I suppose. And I'm sure she'll hit the line very well. She's another one that she does tend to work very well on the track, but at this point in time just hasn't sort of delivered what we see of a morning at track work.
Okay, see how she goes, whether she can put it onto the track. We then head over to Saturday's feature meeting at Doomben, where you've got three informed contenders all lining up, and no doubt you will be refreshed after you joined the three of them for a trip down to Nudgee Beach this week. And how did that all go ahead of the big race meeting on Saturday?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, it was Rhapsody Rose's first day down at the beach, and she can be a little bit of a highly strung filly at times, but it was quite interesting. The minute we got her into the water, she just really switched off and relaxed. So it was a very good exercise for her because, as I said, she's quite hot and highly strung filly. But the minute she got in there alongside of Kavak and Stampy in there, sort of been down there a few times and know what to expect, she just really, you could feel her take a breath and relax and enjoy it. She really enjoyed the beach. So this filly's a very good galloper. Probably a little bit before her time. But I just hope that Ben's able to sort of get in and get the right sort of run with her on Saturday, because I've got no doubt if he does, she'll be certainly one of the closers and should race very well. I'm really looking forward to this filly coming back as a 3-year-old though, but she's a very nice galloper.
Yeah, and she was obviously a good third on debut behind Bedini's Girl, who's gone on to then perform and I guess frank that form, hasn't she?
Well, she has, and I mean, Rhapsody Rose copped interference that day as well. She got buffeted on a couple of occasions and got put off balance. So for her to pick herself up and still fight on to finish third was probably a very good run, and she certainly hasn't gone backwards since then.
Okay, we move over to race 4, where Kavak lines up in a cutest 3-year-old Colts and Geldings handicap over the 1,200. I guess similar field to last start, and he's an impressive last start winner, or he's won his last 2. So how's he sort of come through that run and progressing onto this race?
Really well. No, he just continues to improve. Obviously, as you'd expect, I've got the outside barrier with him again, so he'll have to be used up a bit, I suppose, because I mean in my opinion, I think he's a better speed horse than trying to do any magic tricks on him. And if Larry's able to do that and control the race, he'll be in the finish again once for sure. But I mean, the way Trevor Miller's horse closed off, I suppose he's probably one of the main dangers in the race. But, Kavak's in good form. He's racing with confidence, and he's in a good frame of mind at this point in time.
And he has overcome wide barriers before, hasn't he? I guess his first race start, where I think he drew 10 from 10 in his first race start and was able to come across from there.
That's right. And he won him. He beat them convincingly that day. I suppose the only difference is they're all on set weights that day, but this time he's got to give them 5 kilos. So, look, he's earned that, I suppose. He's earned that weight difference. But he'll have to overcome an awkward draw to be able to beat them.
Sure. And then we move over to Stampy, who is second up after a nice third in his first up performance a fortnight ago, and he jumps from barrier 3. So obviously got some favours there from the barrier gods with Sean Cormack to ride. Yeah,
well, he can win this horse. His first up run was super. Had a little bit of a slight setback, nothing serious in between. That's the reason we haven't run him, but he hasn't missed any work, and in my opinion, the horse is going as good as he's ever gone. So from a good draw, I'd anticipate Sean being able to give him just the right run in behind the speed, and then the rest will be up to him. I know the horse is going well enough, and he can genuinely win the race with an ounce of luck in running.
Okay, that's very interesting. Obviously, he's he hasn't been sort of found in the market. He's I think at around an $18 chance. So that's nice confidence from you there, C Munce. Very interesting to see how he goes, and no doubt his excitable owner will be excited on Saturday.
Yeah, well, let's hope. I mean, it's the first time they've been let out of isolation, Phil and Malcolm. So they're coming to the races first day, and they're really looking forward to it. So hopefully we can get a winner for them.
Very good. We then move over to Captain's Oath, who races at the Gold Coast on Saturday on the quick backup also after finishing 8th there last weekend.
Yeah, well, he disappointed me last weekend. We had the addition of blinkers on and rode him a bit patient, as I thought was the best way to ride him. But he really failed to run on, which to my mind was disappointing. So for that reason, he's pulled up well. There's nothing wrong with the horse. He's fit and healthy. So we'll back him up. And I suppose his performance on Saturday will determine his future, where it lies. But he can gallop this horse. He's a bit better than the maiden, but he just, at this point in time, he's been disappointing in what he's shown us so far.
Okay, well, fingers crossed we see some improvement on Saturday. Then, as I touched on earlier, you've got a number of runners potentially heading down to Grafton on Tuesday. At this point in time, there's only sort of nominations, but I guess let's quickly touch on those potential runners that are heading down that way. DEGAS lines up in a Class 1 handicap over the 1,206 metres.
Yeah, well, he'll go. Once again, this will all be barrier dependent and weather dependent, but he blew out the other day at Caloundra. His condition gave out, but he's had a couple of nice gallops since. He had a bit of time at Fenwick Farms to get over his run, but his coat's cleaned up really nicely now. And he just needs an ounce of luck, I think. And with the improvement he's made, I wouldn't say that he would be out of a race like that down there. Probably looking for a bit more than 1,200 metres, but I just feel that he's starting to improve to where I'd like to see him.
Okay, Shooting Roses, who we touched on last week, was a very creditable second on Cup Day there, and she lines up in a maiden handicap over the 1,106 metres.
Yeah, well, the same deal. I mean, she draws well, she goes. If she doesn't, she won't go, because it's. I've just found in recent times running from bad barriers just a complete waste of time. So she's in good form. She draws well. She'll be competitive in whatever she runs in. She's in peak form, this filly, and she was unluckily beaten the other day after being stuck deep and being first up in condition, just blew out late. But to finish where she did was a mighty run.
Okay, and The Landing, who made his debut last week, he lines up in a maiden plate over the 1,410 metres.
Yeah, well, his first run was very good, I thought. He's a bit of a dumb bugger. He's still learning what it's all about, but I've been very happy with him over the last 3 to 4 weeks. He's just starting to realise what his job is, and 1,400 down there, I just think it'll be a nice race for him going forward. He'll get out to 2,000 metres, this horse, in time. But just right at this point in time, whilst he's still learning how to race and be a competitor, a trip away, nice 1,400 metre maiden on a nice big track like Grafton, I think are doing the world of good, and then we can come back and step him up to a mile or 2,000 after that.
Very good. That's a good little insight there. So obviously room for improvement there. And then the last runner that will be accepting and could potentially head down to Grafton is Moonshiner, who sort of had no luck and got out the back on Cup Day also.
Yeah, well, he drew poor. He got back in the ruck and really just failed to run on. And I think now he's sort of looking for that little bit further. So I've decided to run him down there at this stage anyway. 1,700 down there. He should be able to roll up on the speed somewhere and be in a competitive sort of position right throughout. And if he's good enough, he should be able to run on from there. But, he's a horse. He's got a very strange galloping action, but he's certainly been consistent in all the maiden runs he's been been racing in until last week.
Okay, very good, mate. Well, thanks for all the insights on those runners. Yeah, lots of runners heading to various meetings, so lots of chances too. So good luck and good luck to yourself and connections.
Good on you. Thanks, Adam.